Let's jump over and take a look at the Rams versus the Eagles. So this is going to be a very telling game for the Eagles. Last week, they came out hot. They got 17 points on the Washington football team and then completely imploded. Carson Wentz got sacked 8 times, lost the game 27-17, and just looked like they were completely defeated by the end of that game. It was not a pretty game to watch in the second half, whereas the Rams came out and surprised, beat the Cowboys pretty handily. They didn't really look like they were out of control at any point in that game. So this is going to be a very difficult matchup for the Eagles and one that they could likely go 0-2. Now, right now, Vegas has this at a 46 over-under, one of the higher games on the week. They had the Eagles winning this game, but the spread is by 1, so it's basically a pick 'em at this point. And I definitely understand the thought process for why on that. Now, Eagles kind of continuing their trend of being better against the run as they are against the pass, but last week wasn't really a good story for that because Dwayne Haskins looks just as bad as he did last year, to be frank. Whereas the Rams, they got completely demolished by Ezekiel Elliott, yet they were giving Dak Prescott, plenty of problems all game long, and I'm highly concerned for Carson Wentz this week with Aaron Donald. I mean, if you're in a super flex league, I talked about it in my waiver show, there's definitely merit to be rostering Jalen Hurts at this point because if Carson Wentz is getting sacked as many times as he is not going to stay healthy for much longer. Good news is Lane Johnson and Milo Sanders are looking to be back this week. Both practice in full. That's good news. And I think if you have Miles Sanders, you probably were sweating last week. And if he's coming back in, he's practicing in full. If he practices in full for the rest of the week, I'm definitely comfortable starting him. We saw Ezekiel Elliott completely destroy the Rams, and that was with a pretty beat-up offensive line for the Cowboys as well. So I think Sanders is in a really good spot to dominate this week. Ertz and Goedert, of course, are going to be really good starts in this one. Zach Ertz, only 3 catches last week, but still had 7 targets, whereas Dallas Goedert was the highest targeted guy on the week. And I think we'll see that back and forth continue. We saw this last year with Ertz and Goedert. That was just the way that it worked. Goedert started to, really see some more usage. Now, the concerning thing for Ertz will be if Goedert starts getting more usage in the single tight end sets, but over the last week, it was still mostly Ertz there. So I'm not highly concerned about Ertz at this point. I think Ertz is actually still probably the better play, but both of these guys are top 10 options until further notice. And I'm comfortable starting both defenses in this one. I think this will actually be a lower scoring game than people are projecting, with both of these teams dealing with some pretty shaky offensive line play right now. There should be plenty of sacks to go around, plenty of turnovers here, not really looking to start either Goff or Wentz in this one. So I think this will end up being a decently lower scoring game. Now, with Desean Jackson and Jalen Reagor, that is a more interesting play here. Desean Jackson definitely disappointed for anyone that started him last week. We knew what he did last year against Washington in week 1, and maybe Washington just has a really good defense that we just didn't fully anticipate, but I'm nervous starting Desean Jackson. And, as Jalen Reagor continues to get more and more usage in that offense, it might be very difficult for Desean Jackson to carve out a role for himself. So I'm not sure who Jalen Ramsey will shadow most of the game. I'm probably just going to avoid any receiver option in this game between Jackson, Reagor, and Ward and look more towards the run game and the tight ends there. Whereas on the Rams side, I'm pretty sure at this point you have to start Woods and Kupp. Woods, phenomenal, 6 catches for over 100 yards on Sunday against the Cowboys. He's just one of the most undervalued guys week in and week out. Robert Woods, always getting it done for your fantasy teams. And then Cooper Kupp, so we've already kind of discussed, less usage over the past, in the past week. And we kind of started to see that trend at the end of last year, where if he wasn't scoring a touchdown, technically his game would have actually been pretty poor. But I do think he will rebound and at least score a touchdown in this one. And, overall, I think both of these guys are plenty good starts. And then Tyler Higbee, although didn't do as well as we were hoping for on Sunday, he was still on the field a lot, got plenty of targets, and Gerald Everett dealing with that back injury there. I think Tyler Higbee remains a pretty decent start. We saw Logan Thomas get a lot of work against the Eagles last week. But I think, again, you're comfortable starting both defenses here. There should be plenty of sacks to be had for both the Eagles and the Rams. Now, with the running game, I'm a little more concerned. As we know, the Eagles' front seven is a bit tougher against the run. Now, they did improve their passing defense a little bit this year, but overall, I'm still concerned with the usage split between Malcolm Brown and Cam Akers. We saw Malcolm Brown come out last year and perform better than Todd Gurley in week 1, and then he completely disappeared over the course of the rest of the year. I don't think that's going to happen as quickly this year because Cam Akers is a rookie and it'll probably take him a little bit longer to get back into the fray of things. But I think chasing the points with Malcolm Brown could be a fool's errand, especially in a tougher matchup against the run here. So if I had to start one, I would start Malcolm Brown, but I think you probably have a better option. I would wait it out and see what he does. If he ends up performing well again, then that gives us a little bit more information, but I wouldn't be rushing out to start either of these guys in this game, and we're not going to go after any of the other receiving options here. Okay, but for predictions in this one, I have the Rams winning this 23-17. Again, I have it a little bit lower. I'm taking the under in this one, but I think the Rams can pull it out. I think right now the Eagles are going to need an easy matchup and just some time under their belt with their whole team, in cohesion. But it was a mess on Sunday, and I'm not confident in predicting the Eagles to win anything at this point.